Then when it happens, it happens.
And then when it happens, it happens. Hey, oh man, I still have the button on. Hello, everybody. I'm like, why am I hearing these crazy voices? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Runeterrable Radio, episode number 22.
Yeah.
I am your host, The Blevins. Joining me, as always, is Saucy Mailman. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, everyone?
Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, Saucy. Did we hit the jackpot today?
Yeah. Yep. I think the answer is yes to that question.
The answer is absolutely yes. We have got Legends of Runeterra technically officially releasing tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this in podcast world, it's released today, but it's out on mobile. We've got new cards. We've had them for 2 days. Ranked is up. Just so much stuff going on right now.
All the stuff. Yeah, all the stuff. It's been this is I'm right now currently what is this? 20 hours into a 36-hour streaming marathon.
Yes.
And I must say this is probably the most fun game release I've ever had.
Definitely the most fun game release I've ever had. If you know what it feels like a lot to me in a lot of ways, and the closest I felt to this in a very long time, it feels a lot like the old Magic pre-releases, not like the local store ones, the regional ones.
Yeah.
Like where you I had to travel about 3 hours to get to mine. I know like in New York there was only 2. There was one in New York City and one in Syracuse, and I was closest to Syracuse. So like it was always like it felt like a big event to go to. Like I went out of my way. Of course, I was like, 13 back then. So my mom drove us 3 hours to the big mall in Syracuse where they had this event, and it was like hundreds of people. And it was just like, it felt like everyone was there doing, experiencing the new cards for the first time all together. There's a bunch of different things going on. People are doing different stuff. There's different levels of people, competitive, fun players, new players, people from out of the woodwork. So I haven't felt like that in a very long time, even with Magic, because they changed the format of how pre-releases are. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'd finished going for 12 hours yesterday, and I was like, I could keep going. Like we've been just brewing nonsense, and I was like, I could keep going, but I probably should fall asleep at some point. It's been a lot of crazy fun.
Yeah, I actually, and so I was today, and then also yesterday actually busted out the non-podcast stream for me. Haven't done that in a while. Yeah. Actually streaming gameplay and playing on Twitch, so that has been fun.
Playing video games.
I've been playing video games. It's just I haven't been streaming them in a long time, and I forgot how much I actually like that when the game is when the game itself is very fun.
When you have people telling you live all about your misplays.
Well, I haven't quite gotten that yet because I don't make misplays. Let's be honest.
That's true. I was going to say you don't. That's specifically for me.
No, I definitely do. But had some folks that I hadn't. It's one thing, and obviously I love my regulars and the folks who have been supporting me for a very long time. Love having them in. But when I had some new people in, just kind of out of the woodwork, and I'm like, I don't even stream, man. Like, what are you doing here? But had some actually really constructive deck talks, and got some suggestions for decks. People were sending me decks, and it's like I haven't felt like this in such a long time for any game.
Yeah,
it's just been fantastic.
Yep, fact.
So obviously there are a lot of new cards out. We're not going to go through all of them because that would be a 4-hour show, and we're both in the midst of streaming gameplay. We want to get back to that because we want to play the game. So we're not going to go through every card. If you want that, maybe we'll do some YouTube content or something at some point. I know, Saucy, you've already done a bunch of YouTube videos. I'm sure you're planning on doing more.
Probably.
I don't know if you're going to be doing a card like, you don't need to do a card by card thing, but we'll be getting, you'll hear about the cards eventually, guys, and you can read about them on your own and look at them and play with them even. So we're not going to do that, but we are going to talk about patch 1.0, the new stuff, and then we're just going to talk. I mean, you're 20 hours in. I'm probably 8 to 10-ish in of playing the game and also watching streams, maybe tack on a couple extra hours there. We're just going to talk about how it's been in terms of the game, the cards, what we're liking, what's surprising, all that good stuff. So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
So we've got some Legends of Runeterra Patch 1.0, and I don't know if I've ever been around for a Patch 1.0 of a game where like this. I mean, I was around for Overwatch technically, but it never felt like, you know, Patch 1.0. Like it technically was, but it never felt like that.
Yeah.
So we've got Rising Tides, of course, is the new set. 120 new cards, 11 new champions, 6 new keywords, a new keywords, a new board, 2 new guardians, a new region, 6 updated region roads, 10 card backs, 10 new emotes. We've got Deep Scout, Vulnerable, Attune, Plunder, and Toss. Just a ton of stuff. I mean, they didn't need to do all this stuff for the first set, like a couple months after they even put us in closed beta.
I was surprised by the emotes and the card backs. That I did not expect.
Yeah, because that's like, you know, that's extra stuff. They didn't need to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe some Guardians. I think we're spoiled with the Guardians, and we got 2 pretty good ones. Actually, let's just talk about those now. We obviously, the Guardians are very important to us. Where are you putting these 2 new ones on your tier list? We've got what are they actually called? They're called Bailey and Powder Monkey. Bailey is like a she who wanders. I think like Bailey is underrated for sure. Bailey's nice.
Yeah.
Powder Monkey, I'm using him right now. I don't think I'm sold on him.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
I think he's mid tier.
Yep. So my tier list has changed for Guardians.
Okay.
With the new board that we got, the Slaughter Docks. Gloomtooth has skyrocketed.
Oh yes.
I've been using on every deck because I'm gonna be honest. I've been playing Bilgewater / X everything.
Yeah.
Because it's new, right? It's the new faction.
Right,
we're all excited for the new stuff. Yeah. And so you got to play Slaughter Docks because it's the pirate themed board, and therefore you need to play Gloomtooth because it's a shark.
Yeah. You gotta.
It's just like it's on theme.
It's super on theme. Yeah, Gloomtooth has gone up. Powder Monkey, I really want to like him. I really do. And I've been using him because he's the new one, but I think Bailey is a sleeper pick.
Yeah. Powder Monkey, like the animation where it like lights the bomb and it's like hiding and blows itself up. It's pretty cute. But Bailey is just really, really cool.
Yeah, Bailey is nice. And also like a She Who Wanders, which we don't really, I mean, I don't know too much about. They're just kind of a mysterious thing. It's like a crazy thing. Like that's why I like Gromp. He's like a specifically Runeterran thing, right?
Yeah.
Like even like Powder Monkey, obviously that's a pretty monkeys exist in real life, and also like the monkeys and pirates is a pretty common trope. So you see that all, even like Gloomtooth, like it's a shark. It's a ghost shark, which is cool, but like it's a shark. You see that?
It's a shark.
T-Hex is trashed here. But like Bailey, that's a Runeterran thing. Gromp Jr., I guess is kind of like it's a big frog thing, so maybe it's not as Runeterran, but I like the minion too because that's very
Minion's
Runeterran.
Cool. Yep.
We also got new emotes too, which was cool.
Yeah, we did. The emotes are good too.
They're great.
They're really good.
They're great. Do you have
the Quinn emote is my favorite? I think is the Thresh emote. I really like it. But I like the Quinn one a lot because the bird interacts too.
Yeah. There's like
which is cool. Yeah.
That's the beauty of these. They're done so well. And like the faces are so, I mean, for lack of a better term, emotive. So it's like
Yeah.
you know exactly what they're trying to portray when they do it. I think my favorite one right now is the Yasuo, the finger wag.
Yeah.
It's like ah.
I liked so I was going through the emote shop and I was like, well, I got to get a couple new emotes. I never use emotes, but I had to have them, right?
Yeah.
And I snap picked Yasuo. I'm like, oh, this is the most toxic one. I have to have it.
Yeah, it's
it
pretty toxic.
it's great. It's like it's beautifully toxic. It's like the perfect amount, right?
Yeah, because he's like got that like big grin on his face too.
Mm-hmm.
So we got those. We got the card backs. So we got 3 card backs that you can actually purchase. You got Jinx, Yasuo, and Garen. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's a card back for each of the regions. Once you get them, I believe you have to get them to 25, right? Like you have to get the
Yes,
full.
you have to get them all the way.
Yeah, which I'm surprised. I've seen people with them already somehow. I don't even like what.
Well, I think there was the Bilgewater glitch where some people started the game with Bilgewater at level 25 already.
Oh, that is a glitch.
I saw that going around for a bit. So that one makes sense. But yeah, I know a lot of people like already had if you have all the regions all the way to 20, you just grind out those last 5.
Yeah.
I've seen it a handful of times.
Yeah, and that's another thing to talk about too is they added the 5 levels after the max, right? So like the new set
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just like, well, you got one new region. Once you get that, you're capped out again. It's like, nope. There's 5 extra levels and extra stuff too. The card backs was just
Mm-hmm.
such a nice touch to do because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, if you are at max level in all the region roads, like you kind of already have everything. So like adding more, you know, capsules or whatever, it's like obviously it's nice, right? And we'll I'm sure talk about all the free stuff that we're getting from Riot anyway. In terms of like new player rewards and login
There's
rewards
so
and all that stuff,
much.
so much. But it's like we're not complaining about that, but like when you've got everything, like getting an extra like capsule, it's like it's nice. I'm not complaining about it, but it's like the card back was a nice touch that they didn't need to do, and I'm really glad that they did because it's just cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So also got some quality of life stuff. The per deck loadout is really nice. So now if you want with all these new customizations and whatnot, you now get to change it per deck. So if you want your Jinx card backs on your Jinx deck and you want your Garen ones on your Bilgewater deck, you can have both of those and not have to keep switching around, which is really cool. Same with the Guardians.
Yeah, that was something I was wanting that. I was asking for that for a bit, especially mostly for the boards. Like I don't want to use a Freljord board if I'm, using my Piltover and Zon deck. Like
Right.
I'm like that. So I like
Yeah.
being able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I like, so one of the things that, like, I like matching the things, but in like Magic, like even like Magic Arena, it's like if I match everything, it's like, okay, well, if I have the Flame sleeves, I'm playing a red deck, right? Or if I got the Chandra sleeves, I'm playing the red deck.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you kind of don't want to do that because you don't want your opponent to have that information, right? But with Runeterra, it's like, oh, I already know what deck they're playing. It's public information, and we like play with that in mind. So I can play whatever sleeves I want. I can match it as much as I want, which is awesome.
Exactly.
And then obviously the ranked reset. Ranked is up right now, so if you're listening and you want to play ranked games, go do it. Everyone. So master accounts went down 8 divisions. Diamond and platinum dropped 7.5 divisions. Gold and silver dropped 6 3/4 of a division, and then bronze and iron accounts were reset to iron 4. So the higher up you were, the more you lost, but you still are, starting higher than everyone else.
Yep.
So that was all good, and now the grind begins. And I know a lot of folks are already trying to get first master account. I know.
Yep.
Friend of the show Casanova started at like second 0 and is as we speak grinding up playing NA aggro brain decks and trying to get there. So we wish him the best of luck. I unfortunately was at work So couldn't make a legitimate. Well, I mean, I could play all night, but I'm not going to make a push for it. I'm just gonna play some games and get there eventually, hopefully,
and not lose your mind completely.
not lose my mind and actually have a little bit of sleep.
Yeah.
One actual in-game like actual system change that happened is in regards to playing units on full boards. So now instead of not being able to play a unit from your hand if your board is full, or if something no, yeah, you can now play a unit from your hand if your board is full, and you actually get to override one. It obliterates the unit, so you don't get you can't cheat last breath effects and stuff like that. But there's a little bit more flexibility in what you can do with a full board.
Yeah, I think it's a huge change, and it makes sense. I like this a lot. There's so many times where you're like, man, I really want to play this, 8/8 dude, but I have a crappy 1/1 spider, so I literally can't. So now, especially when now there's all these big, deep sea monster decks, and sometimes you need to play your Nautilus, but you can't because you have the thorny toad. So you're like, crap.
Yeah.
But so now you actually can.
Yep. It's really good quality of life. I guess it's more than quality of life because it actually does impact gameplay quite a bit.
Yes.
But I think it's good.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I do low key kind of wish it triggered last breath effects, but that's abusable, right? They don't.
Yeah, I'm super glad they don't, because it'd be so easy to break.
Right. Yeah, they wanted.
So I get it.
They wanted to keep it still pretty. They didn't want to change the game too much, so. I really like it, and it does, open up. It opens up the playability of a lot of cards, because a card like Brood Awakening, for instance, which I've played a lot of. It's obviously really good at getting that wide board, but if I draw my crowd favorite and I just Brood Awakening, it's well, I guess I need to
attack first
attack first or kill my own guy somehow, and it's just it's just awkward.
Yeah.
It's just super awkward. So really like the change. I think it's a super positive one. And I mean, I'm trying to think if there's other things in the game that would be similar to that they could change. And nothing's coming off the top of my head, but I'm glad that they did this, because it's a pretty big system change to the game that they made super early, right? In the grand scheme of things, this is a pretty early change.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You have to limit the core design of the game. You have to limit the amount of cards you can have out there. If you're trying to make this something you can play mobile, et cetera, thinking forward. But you should be able to choose which of those 6 units you have. So I like it a lot.
Yeah. It usually, I mean, you think about Magic, they make those types of system changes once every 3 or 4 years at most. It's maybe even less than that. I'm trying to think. I just remember 6th edition rules were one, and then you used to be able to put damage on the stack with blocking, and then they changed that. That's a pretty big system change, and they changed all sorts of stuff. So glad that they're ready, willing, and able to do that, which is awesome.
Yep.
And then of course the mobile launch is great. Again, after talking with my cousin and not me on a Smurf account, my cousin who was in Singapore, who played the mobile client before it was technically out in the US, but it was my cousin in Singapore, so there was nothing wrong with that. Definitely the case, guys. Don't look any further into that. It was good. It felt really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. And sometimes you port from PC game to a mobile game and it feels kind of janky. It really didn't feel like that at all. If I had a better, or rather, if my cousin had a better Android tablet device, it would have been great. The problem was that their device was old and slow, so the game ran slow.
Exactly.
If they had a better phone or a better device, would be great. And I know, Saucy, you're not a big mobile game player, but I actually am. I love mobile games.
Yeah.
And I also like when I played Hearthstone competitively, so like in 2014, I actually played a couple tournaments on my iPad. So like I have no problem, and like I would really not feel there's some games I would never even consider doing that, like Fortnite, for instance. Like I would never play a Fortnite tournament on an iPad. Now, obviously, it's different, but like I would play an LOR tournament on an iPad or a tablet device. Maybe not my phone,
Yeah.
just because I have fat fingers, but like a tablet is like the perfect size, I feel like, for a game like this.
I did some Hearthstone tournaments on a tablet, especially for like if you ever went into like the launch events and stuff, like where you go to the firesides and stuff.
Yes,
Tablet's
yes.
perfect for
It's
that.
perfect. It is absolutely perfect. And like, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. If they had like tavern events like that for Runeterra, or like if you played at like a DreamHack or something, it's like I'm not bringing a PC, or even really, I don't even really want to bring a laptop to a convention if I don't have to.
Not at all.
I'm
Not
only
at all.
bringing it if I'm working, like literally, like, doing media coverage or something, and I need the laptop. But I'll bring, I'll throw an iPad or something in my, my backpack that I'm carrying anyway. I really don't want to carry around a laptop because I'm going to worry about it all the time, and it's going to be heavy and all this stuff. But like iPad or even phone, like I would play, if I was at a DreamHack or some other convention, and there was a LOR tournament that I could just walk up and just like, hey, what's your summoner name? Okay, you're registered, you can play. And like do it on my phone. I 100% would do that.
I was at it was actually at a Comic-Con convention that I was at, and there was a Hearthstone tournament. This is back when I was playing Hearthstone. This was like also many years ago.
Yeah.
And there was this Hearthstone tournament going on, and I was like, I want to play, and I had just my phone with me, and I was like, sweet. So I popped in and played on my phone.
Yeah.
So that kind of a thing.
It's so awesome. Like the number of times, and that's part of why I love limited in Magic the Gathering. It's like the number of Gen Cons or Origins or these other like tabletop conventions I've been to, and it's like, or PAX East, like they always have tabletop stuff. Sometimes I just I'm done waiting in line for 10 hours and watching and playing a demo of a game.
Yeah.
I just want to do a Magic draft. I can just do that anywhere and anytime, as long as they have packs. Like I can always just do a draft. Like I don't need to carry around thousands of dollars worth of decks. And like for something like LOR, I don't even need to bring it. I could just have my phone and like, I'm gonna sign up for this tournament and play. So really cool, really glad.
Like the most convenient thing, and this is like what I always used, would always pop up when I was playing Hearthstone a lot.
Yeah.
And it's been happening a lot recently, is like someone always hits me up and wants to know like, hey, what's your deck list for X? And it's like something I'm brewing, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have access. Let me go to my desktop computer and pull it up. So now I can just copy my deck list from the phone and send it to him. And like, or like if, we're talking, I'm at lunch with coworker who plays the game, like, oh yeah, I did this sweet Undying deck. I'm like, oh, can I get your list? Let me go home and get on my computer and get it real quick.
Or like, do you want to play at lunch? Or, it's super, super cool to be able to do that. So, I mean, I'm very, very, I personally love playing mobile games, and also I'm very bullish in general about mobile games and the future of those and the future of mobile games for esports too. But so really glad that we're in that space with LOR. And I mean, I think even more so than like TFT, which is also there, like LOR, it's just it's so much easier of a transition. Like card game just makes sense on mobile. It plays super well, plays very similarly. TFT, it's like there's a little bit of dexterity to it, so it like is a little bit off, like closer to my Fortnite example, still not to the same level, but like closer. Like I would not want to play a TFT tournament on mobile. I mean, it would be cool because that means there's a TFT tournament, but I would rather not do that. I would probably bring the laptop for that, but LOR, I'd be fine on an iPad. So yeah, mobile's cool. Let us. I'm curious what you guys think and what your experiences have been. If you guys have liked the mobile or not, make sure jump on in the Discord, discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. Let us know how you've been, liking mobile, if you've been playing it all on it or not, and yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Saucy.
I,
Now,
let's talk about some cards, can we?
yeah. So, since last we met, we have MF, we've got Fizz, Gangplank, and Twisted Fate for new champs. I'm missing one.
Yeah.
Nautilus as well. Nautilus is the other one,
Naughty,
right?
big naughty boy.
Oh, the naughty,
Also,
naughty boy.
this is related, but not. Did you see the cinematic today?
I sure did.
Graves
Graves.
incoming at some point, eh? Hopefully.
Maybe.
I love Graves in TFT.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite TFT units.
Yep.
I love his attitude and I'm not gonna spoil it. Go watch the cinematic if you haven't. We watched it on my stream. We did a watch party.
Nice.
Which I screwed up royally, but that's fine. I'm Bilgewater, dude. I'm loving it. I love it.
So I also love it. The whole just the theme and everything of the pirate stuff. I love that. Sea of Thieves. I don't actually like playing the game. I think it's a little bit boring, but I just love the theme of that. I love I actually like watching people play Sea of Thieves 1,000 times more than I actually like playing it.
Oh yeah, dude.
I just get so
100%.
bored playing it. I need to be playing another game while I'm playing Sea of Thieves.
That's why you need a mobile.
Yeah, I need Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I need to be playing Sea of Thieves and have LOR mobile playing as well.
Yep.
But I just the music on the Bilgewater board and that cinematic and just everything about it. It's just I don't know. It's just nice. I like it a lot. The whole island theme. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's because we're inside all day. It just feels better.
Maybe
It just feels even better.
Yep.
So that was awesome. But how much of these new ones? I know you said you've been playing Bilgewater and everything. Who have you been using, Saucy?
So you'd think I had been playing more Fizz decks than I have, but I actually haven't.
Same,
I think Fizz is my favorite new champion. I think I'm just going to say Fizz is my favorite new champion. Just in general, he's very good.
Yeah.
If you have to build around him.
Right.
You can't just throw him in any deck and him be good. He is a build around, but he's strong when it works.
Yep.
Today, mostly Gangplank.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of Ezreal Gangplank. It's kind of been my baby. Ezreal Gangplank is, one, I haven't lost with it. Two, it's very sick. They synergize better than you'd think. One, it's insanely easy to get him leveled up. He's always leveled up by turn 5 or 6.
Yep.
Because I'm playing Boom Crew rookies, and you play a lot quicker. And we're all accustomed to Ezreal being this combo piece. You play him and win. And that deck, you just play him as a dude that gets you Mystic shots.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. And so the meme that I've been playing is the Unyielding Kags deck. Have you seen this deck?
No. What is Unyielding Kags?
So Unyielding Kags, there's the Demacia 8-mana burst spell, Unyielding Spirit. Oh
God, yes. Okay.
You grant an ally, I can't take damage or die. If you put that on a keg, the keg can no longer die.
Oh my God.
So you have permanent spell power.
That is Keg W right there.
Yeah, so it's actually one, it's horrible.
Okay.
Don't craft this deck, but two, it's amazing, and do craft this deck. Permanent spell power turns out is broken.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's hard because it's an 8-mana spell, but it is at burst speed. So you can do stupid stuff it makes all your Mystic shots deal 3 at least. My Mystic shots were hitting for 6 on a game yesterday. It's so, and yeah, when you attack with a Boom Crew rookie for 5,
God, that's so bad. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's the only thing is it's a Demacia spell, so you have to be in Demacia and Bilgewater. But yeah, I don't remember the name of it. The card that deals 1 randomly to 3 dudes.
Oh, Make It Rain.
Make It Rain. It's super good.
That card. I want to pause here for a second because I do want to mention that both myself and you, Saucy, did get hooked up by Riot, and we got unlocked accounts, so we've been able to actually test all this stuff. So just wanted to take a moment to say shout outs to Riot for that. Really do
Thank you guys
appreciate
so
it.
much.
It's so awesome. That ride is actually, and there's a lot of, people that we know in the community as well that got the, they listened to the feedback
Yeah.
from the initial release, and they, in a super good way, really, I think did a solid for the community. So I just wanted to really bring that home. So, but Make It Rain.
But yeah, that's been my meme.
Yeah,
That's been my meme.
That's awesome. Make It Rain, I think low key was it was a sleeper for me. I did not, that card was not on my radar at all. I actively thought it was bad. And it overperformed in a lot of spots. But B, I didn't realize that it triggered Ezreal.
It does trigger Ezreal.
I did not know that. That to me, when I someone in my chat told me, it's like, yeah, Make It Rain triggers Ezreal. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Why would it? It's like, just do it. I'm like, whoa. I like my jaw was on the floor for like 5 minutes. I'm like, this just blows everything wide open.
Yep. Yeah, it's I think like in a plunder as a mechanic at the start, I think we were all like, maybe it's not going to be that great. Most people were like, it looks okay. Plunder's nuts.
Yeah.
Super easy to do.
Yep.
And I'm gonna, this is my soapbox moment here real quick. Just grant me a few minutes.
Yes, go.
Plunder is low key a buff to Teemo, because the mushrooms trigger plunder. I went on this discussion yesterday. Runeterra Dex retweeted it. They recorded my stream to me talking about it. But like, so I've been playing a lot of Teemo Fizz, which is just sick in its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, the puff caps trigger plunder, which is just nuts. It's so good. Plunder's great.
It seems super good. Like, I was actually like considering. I don't know, like. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know if it's Teemo or if it's Puffcat Peddler or both.
It's both.
I don't know. I don't know if I can buy into Teemo, but I do.
Got a Teemo.
I do. I do. Although the last time that we talked about this, I did immediately craft the Teemos and was not unhappy about it. But I think, even though like Make It Rain again, it's like technically random, so I was like very unimpressed by it, and it really has overperformed. And there's actually been, so I actually had a couple of cards that overperformed and a couple of cards that underperformed, and like a couple archetypes as well that I initially thought were like, I was very, very mild on, that actually ended up being quite good, or at least stronger than I thought. And then like, the big one for me was, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit too, was like Fizz. I thought was actually busted, and he might still be, but it might just be because I'm not used to playing with him, and he's a little bit weird. Like the number of times I attack with him and forgot that I need to like I have the spell, I just need to play it first. The number of times I just like chump attacked with my Fizz because I forgot to give him elusive was probably too many.
There's actually there's like a fair bit of nuance to playing Fizz, honestly.
Yeah, and like not in a good way, I don't think, because it's like he really, unless you have burst spells specifically that you want to play proactively, you can't open attack with him. If they have a blocker.
That's why you play the mushrooms. You play all the mushrooms.
Yeah, well, yeah, because then you can just play the puff caps. But you're trying to distract me. You're trying to get me to play Teemo. It's not going to work. It might work.
Fizz Teemo.
I might build it after this. But
you get the two most aggressive champions in one deck. Fizz and Teemo.
True.
They're so good.
Although
Fizz is probably just better with like Misfortune, but
yeah. So Fizz kind of underperformed for me. I think maybe the shells that I was playing him with are ambitious. Also, in general, people were building and still are building extremely greedy and cute decks. Yeah. Like that's what's going to happen. You want to play the new cards. You want to play the new stuff. You don't want to play these boring Vile Feasts and Vengeances and Mystic Shots. Those are all boring old cards.
Ruination, Avalanche, just bad cards. Withering Whale. Who plays these?
Boring. I want to be playing more powder kegs.
Yeah. And so that, like, let's preface this whole card conversation with that, because the biggest question I keep getting from everyone is like, what's the best deck? What's the meta like? Blah, blah, blah. And the hard thing is this happens with every single card game, with every single card game release. When you have all of these new cards, you want to play them all. So all of the quote unquote decks we're getting and all, like, when you see these lists on Twitter and whatnot, they're all just greedy nonsense that are just playing all of the cards that are new. So nothing's settled yet.
Well, and I'll also say that I'm seeing, if I was taking Twitter results as fact, there were about 10 total losses on Runeterra yesterday. Everyone's like, oh, I went 15-3, I went 16-0, I won 200 games, didn't drop a single game with this deck. It's like, wow, man. We
took some of these lists on stream, and some of them are hot dog shit.
Oh,
let me
they're
tell you.
bad. Some of these decks are
like, especially the deep decks. So many of them are literally every single thing that says toss.
Yes.
In a deck, and I'm like, what do you do? There's no removal. There's no coherent game plan. It's just I want Nautilus and Maokai and everything that says toss.
Well, it's like, and it's like, oh man, well, we have removal spells, but those are boring. We're not gonna play that. We're gonna play Ye Been Warned, the 1-mana, like, give a guy vulnerable, if it dies, draw a card. It's like that's the new truth, right? It's like, well, no, actually, that's a slow spell. It's super clunky. It works really poorly, and like sometimes cantrips. What? It's not that good, especially not in that deck. So that actually leads me to another thing: is that the Nautilus decks in general, I'm going to say specifically Nautilus decks, Nautilus Control, Sea Monster Control, rather, actually overperformed for me. So
really?
Because I saw it, and I'm like, I saw the same list. I think BBG put out one that was like, here it was just the same greedy stuff that everyone was running, and I'm sure he probably did go 18-0 because he's a very good player and will beat someone with a ham sandwich. But I took that list and I'm like, okay, first off, these EB Warns, I'm throwing those right in the trash. I'm tossing those out of my deck, and I'm not getting a buff for them. I don't care. I don't need the toss. The other thing, after playing a few games, like Maokai, super cute. Don't ever want more than one. In fact, the one might be too many. But I actually do really like the one, because it's like everything's going towards that. The deck wasn't running the Horn Toads, which I think are like the best card in the deck. Like,
I think it's the best. Yeah,
it's really good.
So good.
And long story short, I cut a bunch of this extra fat. I trimmed that, and then I played, a removal suite. And it actually, like, I haven't played a ton of ranked games. I only played 3, but I'm undefeated with it so far. So I should go post on Twitter right now, undefeated with Maokai.
We did the same thing. That was like the first thing I started my stream with this morning. Was I took the same thing. Like, it was just one of the deep sea decks, and I'm like, all right. I also dropped down to 1 Maokai in the list. I'm like, let's play things like Grasp and Withering Whale and Ruination. Just avenge. I put in like 3 Vengeance, 2 Grasps, and 2 Withering Whales. Yeah. And turns out people still don't play around them, because people are used to all the same nonsense. And like, they just slam in the mirror match. They're like, all right, Nautilus on curve. I'm like, Vengeance? They're like, oh shit, Vengeance exists still. Yep.
Oh crap, I should probably be playing around that. It's like, and like all these like I'm seeing all these Vi decks, and it's like, oh god, we're playing these like 4-mana stun a guy cards, and it's like, that's not good. Why? Okay, let's take the new set glasses off. Would you have played that card before? No, exactly. Get it out of the deck. It's probably not good, although that one might actually be good because it makes a 3/2 go. But regardless, like, there's a lot of cards that people are playing right now that, like, and I don't blame people for playing them, because now is the perfect time to be playing these new cards to see if they're actually good testing. But like copy pasting, I would not, even from a pro player right now, top players, I copy the deck, but I'm not pasting it right in. I'm trimming. I'm
Yeah, same. That's probably my biggest advice for anyone. Even like
yes.
if you're fairly new, like to the game, if you're not super experienced, at least if you've played card games, give a look at it and see if it makes sense.
Yep.
Like to begin with. But so cards that underperformed, cards that overperformed.
Okay.
Back to this discussion. For
Yes.
me, so I think the number one card that way overperformed what I was expecting is Misfortune.
Okay.
I thought the card looked pretty decent. I thought she looked pretty good. I didn't think she was going to be as easy to make work, but playing with her, she's absolutely insane. Misfortune is legitimately super strong. She's the aggro card that beats other aggro decks. Like she's the anti-aggro card.
So it's really funny that you put Misfortune on that list because I actually thought Misfortune underperformed.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards So let me preface this here though, is that my expectation of Misfortune was different than yours. I saw her and thought she was actually the most busted thing ever.
I thought she was a wet noodle. I'm like, this card blows. Who's gonna play it?
I think we were probably both wrong about our initial expectations.
And we probably met in the middle.
And we met in the middle and came from both directions and are at the same place. Yeah, she is very strong. She makes blocks really weird. She says screw you to a lot of spiders. People are going to be misplaying around her for a very long time because it's like, oh, I block with my 3/4 guy. I block your 3/3 with my 3/4. It's like, oh wait, I can never block anymore. Rip. Yeah, no, she's super strong, and she obviously, triggers plunder and all that good stuff. Like it's super good. And she's just busted when she flips. But she's super hard to flip.
Unless you're playing her with scouts.
Right.
Which was the other thing. I thought scouts were going to be hot dog shit, and turns out they're very strong.
I think we did the same thing again because I thought the scouts were going to be actually broken, and they only get a slight downgrade for me. I over-evaluated them for sure, but they're still quite good.
It's real good with Misfortune because you level her in 2 turns.
Right. There's like a lot of things that you can do, and like I don't know what the right mix of scout cards to non-scout cards are, and like which scout cards you want to play. But like there's some very good ones. There's like the mini, like almost like a Cythria Cythria-esque card. I forget the name, but it's 6 mana, 4/4 scout challenger. Give your guys +1/+1 when you play her.
Yeah, she's real good.
She has like a unique name, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. But she's really good. There's the one the guy that gives an enemy vulnerable.
He's way better than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's super good. So yeah, I think Scout is really good. So I've got another underperformer.
Okay.
One that I think it's actually a Genevieve is the Scout's name. Okay. I think I think this is an unpopular opinion right now, and I think that it's going to play out differently than a lot of people are thinking. The Sea Monster card, the 5 mana 3/3 elusive Nexus Strike draw card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that card's a bait.
Yeah, it's super underperformed for me too.
It's okay. So here's the problem. It doesn't block very well at all. It's a 3/3, guys.
Everything.
Remember, 3/3 dies to everything.
Grasp,
get excited.
The new Piltover's on removal card, which also overperformed.
Yep. The all the Noxus removal, it's all that. So people are running it as an automatic 3, and it's a 5-drop, guys. I don't care that it gets here. And here's the thing: everyone's like, "Oh, but it gets reduced by 4 when you have a Nautilus out. You gotta have that." It's like, whether you have that one or any of the other sea monsters, when you have Nautilus flipped, does not matter. Like, yes, it's unblockable.
They're all free. Whatever.
They're all giant, right? It doesn't matter which one you have. And it's like, well, it draws you cards. And I was trying to explain this on stream yesterday, and I don't think people got it. So, or the people I was talking to understood what I was saying. when you have in that deck, it's a control deck, right? And it's a very heavy. You're keeping spells in your hand, and you're keeping and like you have a lot of expensive guys, right? So when you have your hand full of 5, 6, and 7 drops, and you draw another 5, 6, and 7 drop, the fact that you have 5 cards in your hand or 6 cards in your hand isn't relevant because you can only play one spell a turn.
Yeah.
Right? You're not running out of cards in that deck very often. So you're going from 6 cards in hand to 7, and you can only play one a turn. So it does give you more card selection, but card selection is not actually that valuable of a card. It's not actually getting you card advantage because you already have that. It's diminishing returns after a while. Yep. And so I think that it actually doesn't provide you what you need in that deck specifically. Now, that card might be good in a different deck. Yeah. Potentially. I don't know. It might be better than the... Well, it's probably not better than the 5 mana 4/4/1 with Attune. 5 mana 4/4 elusive Attune in Bilgewater. It's probably not better than that in a lot of those aggressive decks. But regardless, like, it doesn't block, which is a problem for that deck because you need to survive. It blocks almost nothing. It's expensive. It does nothing when it comes into play. All the things that, like, you see, and when you've played, you know, card games like that, like this for a long time, you see, like, there's a lot of things that are not living up to speed here. It's not quite where it needs to be for constructed. Like, a 5 mana flyer, when it deals damage, draw a card. That's not a playable card in constructed Magic, right? It's not even close to a playable card in constructed Magic, even if it gets bigger later on. It's really good, and it's an extremely good card in limited, but it is not a playable card in constructed Magic. So I think maybe it has a place because it is a sea monster, and you need to have a certain number of sea monsters. But I think it's a cut. It's one of the cuts. Mm-hmm. At least it's at least not a 3 of. I don't think so. That was one that really underperformed for me. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. So an underperformer, I think we touched on it a bit for me, was Maokai. I thought it was going to be, I think he's still good. So my favorite Maokai shell, I don't know if you've tried this yet, is the Maokai. I'm not playing it with any of the sea monsters. I'm just doing it as like a mill deck with Shadow Isles and Bilgewater.
Just hyper.
And doing, it's just like Maokai mill stuff. And I'm playing it with Twisted Fate.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. You're doing all of the pilfer effects, everything where you take their cards, and then all just removal. And you're not even super in on the all the toss stuff. You're playing like Thorny Toads and the Lifesteal one, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. That's so Twisted Fate. That's one that overperformed for me. When I first saw him, I was like, it seems aggressively average. But I've actually been playing him in a lot of decks. Like, my go-to, if I'm like, I don't know what champion I should play, I'm just gonna play Twisted Fate because his effect is always relevant at basically any point in the game.
I mean, you can draw a card, right?
Yeah. Even if it's like against a control deck, you're like, all right, just play him, draw a card. Sweet. If you're against a big ass dude, you stun him. If you're against a wide board, you wipe the board. Like, he's very, very good.
Yeah. I haven't actually had the chance to play with him yet, but he is on my list right now.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
So I'm trying to think, was there any other ones that over or underperformed for me? Not particularly. Everything else, I'm still obviously, I'm still playing around with. I did play the Ezreal Gangplank deck, or a version of it. The barrels actually overperformed for me. I guess that kind of counts. The barrels in general have overperformed, which has been cool. But so I think my favorite card in the new set. Do you have a favorite single card?
I'm between two.
I know exactly what one mine is.
All right, what's yours?
It's the Street Shark himself, Riptide Rex. 100% not close.
Dude, Riptide Rex is gangster.
Yeah.
It is so cool. And that's my win condition in the Unyielding Kags. That's the win condition, by the way.
Oh, God, because it pumps them all.
Yeah. Yep. All of them do like 5 times the damage.
That's so dumb. I love it.
Yeah, Riptide Rex is good. Mine, okay, I'm between two. I think my favorite card is the Black Market Merchant.
Ooh, that card's really good.
It just goes in every deck I play.
It's so good.
2 mana 2/2 that lets you draw from an enemy deck and reduce its cost by 1 is just absurd. But I think my favorite card is the Zap Sprayfin.
Ooh, yeah, that's a really good one.
It's a 4 mana 2/2 elusive attune. When you summon, draw a spell that costs 3 or less from your deck. I think he just goes in like, if you're playing Bilgewater, he goes in every control deck. It's an elusive blocker that draws you a card.
Too.
And he goes in every aggro deck because he's an elusive attacker that draws a card.
Yep. Yep.
So good.
It's really good. And like you can also like it's almost better than draw a card because you actually can build your deck to have it draw, like a tutor. Like it's kind of he's actually insane. I think people picked him out as one of the better cards. So he actually has performed exactly where I thought he was, which was very, very good.
He's not, and I think that's probably like my top number 1 card.
Yeah, I think in terms of, I think that one and action and Make It Rain have actually been like my 1 and number 2, in terms of Bilgewater cards. But Riptide Rex is just the coolest card, so I can't not. Also, all the Keg W cards, so good. That
Kegwa.
Keg W's in chat, please. Yeah, it's just been great. Have you played any like Lee Sin decks yet, or any?
So I've played
Sejuani's?
a bit. I've played Sejuani has let me down a bit. She's not as cool and sweet as I thought she was.
Yeah.
Every time I've played a deck that has Sejuani, this is what's happened. I've played the deck and it performed okay, and every single time I said, man, she should be Swain, or oh, she should be Braum.
Yeah.
Like she's all right. I haven't cast a single Vi. I've never played her. I played a really, really cool Fizz Lee Sin deck.
Okay.
We called it Kung Fizz.
Nice.
It was actually really, really cool because all of the dudes you play that generate spells are really good with Fizz.
Yeah.
And they're all defensive spells.
True.
So it feels very Boggles-esque from Magic. And I still screw up playing Lee Sin and forget how the dragon kick thing works.
Yeah,
every
I
time.
still don't know. I mean, it's him that does the damage, right?
Yeah, you like do the damage, and then the creature that you kick does the damage to their own nexus.
But does it do the damage of the creature? I don't know. It says it kicks them into the nexus, so
yeah. But the dude that you kick into the nexus, they do their attack damage to the nexus.
Oh,
but he does his damage to the dude because if it doesn't kill them, it goes back to their hand.
Oh, gotcha.
Everyone in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like 82.3% sure that's how it works. I kicked a Nautilus into the Nexus earlier and won.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember how it works, but the wording of it is weird. Like it's flavorful, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I've never played any Vi. She's just kind of very vanilla to me.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people trying to build her.
I think she's okay. I just don't think she's amazing. I can't get over Quinn. I think Quinn is still a trap. Like I played a bunch of very popular archetype you're all going to see if you haven't is the Misfortune Scouts deck, because again, you play the Misfortune, the Scouts get to attack twice, it levels or whatever. They all play Quinn. So I took that list and I just dropped all the Quinns, only played Misfortune as my only champ, and just added in combat tricks, and it performed way better. So Quinn isn't terrible, but the problem is like on 5, every single time I'd rather play the dude that makes someone vulnerable. Right. Every single time.
Yep.
Like every time I've went to play a Quinn, I'm like, man, this other play is just way better.
Yep.
Like just way better.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think she's all right. Like the 2 bodies is good. It's like good with Bannerman, I guess, and like Scout is good, but like again, Does the Demacia shell actually want that, or does it just want Garen? Does it just want Radiant Guardian? Does it just want Silverwing? The 5/4 challenger guy, like that spot in Demacia specifically is so contested.
Yeah, it's tough. It's so tough with them.
Yeah, and Vi, I also like. I just she has performed exactly where I thought she was, which was like very mediocre. Like she has some like crazy combo stuff that she can do, but like I'm not impressed. And
yeah same.
Least,
It's just not exciting to me.
yeah, Lee Sin, I've seen a lot of people playing with it, and every single time I've seen it, it's just like, well, what if this was Karma instead? Like,
yeah, he is sweet. He's easy to level up. He actually worked. So in the Fizz deck, they level up by doing the same thing. So when you level one up, you level up the other.
Right.
Fizz is 6 spells and he's 7, but like you level them up together. And in that deck, it's all cheap spells. So like he's pretty decent. But I don't know. He's really cool. And he's a 4/7 body when he's leveled up, which is good. And he's ripped.
Yeah, I mean, true.
He's got those abs.
Got damn abs. Yeah, same with like Vi. It's like, but also 6 mana, so I don't care.
Yeah,
like Karma obviously is a different engine and does things very differently, but it's like Karma is so strong and costs 1 less mana, and like it's easier to level up because you just like exist. And she levels up, and her level up is insane.
You played the game, and then you're leveling her up.
Yeah. And like I think again, Vi, Lee Sin, to a lesser extent, Quinn, Sejuani, all these, even like MFs and whatnot, like all of these champions, like they are way worse when your opponent is actually playing removal and interactive stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but I could get the super awesome combo where I have my Vi strike during combat and judgment them, and it just does 10 million damage. It's like, yeah, but also Will of Ionia exists, or Vengeance, or this, that,
Deny.
these cards that, remember, we were playing not 3 days ago when the ladder was up, and then we're like, I guess it's just like, again, fun cards are one thing, but I'm thinking a little bit more like competitive, viable, and like.
Well, and that's the other problem in air quotes right now that you guys can't see because this is a podcast. With Lee Sin is when when you do the dragon kick thing, you can deny that effect. Like it's he plays the dragon kick spell, so
yeah, it's a skill.
Like, it's a skill, so you can deny it. So yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of super fun stuff that I would not even remotely say is going to be tier 1 viable, but there's been a lot of something that did impress me is how easy to level up Swain is. That was one I thought was going to be way harder.
Yes,
but he's always leveled up by turn 5. It's crazy.
It was insane actually how easy it was to level him up.
Yeah.
Someone shipped me a Swain, was it Ezreal? Swain Ezreal like aggro list, and I'm like, okay, let's play this Swain, and I'm like, okay, I'll play this Swain here, and I play it, and he levels up. I'm like, wait, he's already leveled up? What?
Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy. So yeah, Swain, I think I've yet to really put my thumb on where he is, but he seems very good.
He's been good every time I've played him, but I haven't been able to evaluate like would he be better as something else yet?
Right.
Swain Gangplank is sick though.
Yeah, for sure. Get all those kegs out there doing even more non-combat damage.
Yep. They kind of partner together the same as like Lee Sin and Fizz, is where they just kind of automatically level up together by doing the same thing.
Right. Which is pretty cool. Like when you have that sort of synergy, I think that's moving forward. We're going to see more of that, and we're going to see those sort of line up and really level up together.
It's hard to evaluate because like how much do you value not having to put effort into something?
Right.
Like whereas because that's kind of like why like the Lee Sin goes with the Fizz, where you literally like just by having it in the deck, it's leveling up by doing the exact same thing your deck's already doing. You don't have to change any cards. You don't do anything different. So like that's why like the Gangplank with the Swain, it's like you don't do anything different, and then the cards are just leveling up together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's yeah. It is really hard to understand
Yeah,
where the power level is there.
that's
So
the cool thing about this game, though, right? Like the champions in themselves change so much, and I think like there's a lot of times where you're always like, oh, what 6 champions do I want? When really like playing 3 or 4 or 5 champions might be correct, you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a crazy time, and it's awesome because like
Yeah.
there's so many at the very least, there is a lot of very, very powerful things that can be done. Now,
Yeah.
power ceiling is only one factor, and arguably not the most important factor. I think the most important factor is probably consistency, or like where is the power floor, which I think like the power floor for something like Vi is very low, and the power ceiling is also very high. So the median is actually in a weird spot, or the median is in the middle, but the mean is somewhere lower, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting my statistics terms correct here. The median is in the
Whatever.
middle.
We're gonna say they're
The
correct.
mean is lower than the middle, which I don't think you want for competitive. And the range is large. And the
There you go.
I'm just trying to flex my memory from 11th grade.
He's reading this off the internet right now, by the way.
Furiously typing high school statistics terms.
You're on domyhomework.com or whatever.
Yes, I am. But yeah, I mean, I think that I do think that there are a lot of really powerful things that can happen, and people are building around specifically those powerful things now, which is awesome and cool. Probably not going to be all of them aren't going to be the best competitive deck, right? Obviously. So, but it's really cool and really awesome, and I'm just like, I'm having so much fun. I haven't had this much fun with a new set release for anything in a very, very long time.
Seriously, so many things. It's incredible, like how many new, completely different archetypes have like come from this expansion, and so I think my favorite bad new control deck is the Dreadway Ledros deck.
Yes, the OTK, even though it's not really one turn, it's over 2 turns.
You need it in 2 turns, but it's the 2-turn, 1-turn.
TTK.
Yeah, it is so much fun. That deck, and I think that it could maybe somewhat viable with something, but you play nothing but removal and those 2 cards. It's so fun.
I mean, so it's not good, right? I mean, maybe it is. No. It could be. Okay, so here's the thing. That effect obviously like tops out the power level, right? Like literally wins the game. They die.
They literally die.
Literally die. Now, is the setup, so is the difference between time to kill, which is 1 turn in this case, or I guess 1 turn setup, 1 turn to actually kill them, is that setup and risk worth the, like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 extra turns that like a Ledros would just kill them anyway, right? Like that's for the deck testers to decide.
It's all I know is it's damn fun.
Yeah.
Deck is a blast.
That is an emote spammer if I've ever seen it. That is a you just you spam the Swain mind blown emote over and over again. For sure. But yeah, I mean, overall, again, huge shout outs for Riot for everything they've done for us, but also huge shout outs just for like making a cool set and like having a cool like experience around the set. I'm just super happy.
It's been a blast. So far, I have nothing bad to say.
Nothing
Give it some time, though.
bad to say. We'll give it
guys, I only have a 46.7% win rate with this deck. Why isn't it winning more?
But we'll get to that. We'll have more of that to talk about. But before we go, Saucy, any last minute things that you wanted to talk about, or anything else that we missed here?
I don't think so. I mean, it's been a lot of experimenting, a lot of fun stuff. Still figuring out how cards work. Still forgetting how vulnerable works basically every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost so many games by forgetting that my opponent's stuff is vulnerable,
Yep.
or that kegs have vulnerable by themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance to this, and I think as decks get more refined and we actually start building legitimate decks, the like interaction between you and your opponent has increased with this set, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. Which is again really really cool thing, and so this weekend there's going to be the Duels of Runeterra event, which has been going on every other week for a while now, and it's going to be the first one with the new cards. So I'm very excited to see that. I'll bring back some tales of some decks that we see from that, but it's going to be super cool to see what people brew.
Yep.
But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you all for listening. We're going to let you get back to playing because that's what we want to be doing right now. But before we go, Saucy, where can people find you on the internet and at large?
I am just everywhere at Saucy Mailman on Twitch and YouTube is where you can find me. If you're listening to this on the day the podcast came out, I'm in the middle of still doing a 36-hour launch party stream extravaganza. So yeah, and then YouTube, I revamped my website. So if you are a new player getting into the game, saucymailman.com, I have a whole page dedicated to new user guides.
Nice.
So if you're getting into the game, I have guides on everything that you'd want to know when you first start the game. So jump on there.
That is awesome. Another place you should jump, discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. Saucy and I both basically live there all the time. Really, so does Cosign Joe. And a lot of other, and to be honest, a lot of other really awesome community members that we see in the chat, we see in our Twitch chats, we see in the YouTube comments, and we see in our Discord as well. So again, discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. Really great place. We've got the full swath from new players to people just getting in, to people who played Magic for a long time and want to start playing, to really high-level competitive players, and it's just a really cool place, inclusive place where we just talk about, Runeterra and the full swath of it. So definitely join there. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, Twitch at twitter.com at @the_Blevins. Why am I saying twitter.com like a boomer? Getting closer to 30, that's why.
There.
At @the_Blevins on Twitter, twitch.tv/theblevins. But that's going to be, and DeckPics.Live. Go to the website. You can find all of our links and whatnot, including to the Discord, DeckPics.Live, as well as Runeterrable.com. But that's going to be it for this episode. For Saucy Mailman, I am the Blevins. And guys, have fun with the new set, and we'll see you guys in Bilgewater. And if we don't see you there, we'll see you next week, and we'll be talking about more Legends of Runeterra.